All right. Hey, Dave, how's it going?
Going well, Adam. Good to be here, buddy.
Good. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Really excited to have you on and to sort of get to share everything that you've been doing with the audience. I know you've been up to a lot of cool things since we first started talking. I guess it's been over a year, or has it been two now? It's been a while.
Yeah, I've been doing this for about 2 years, so it couldn't have been longer than two. But we'll have to go check
That's
back.
it.
We'll have to go check the Facebook message history and
That's it. Check
see
the
when it all
records.
started.
No kidding. That's awesome. Well, I mean, again, man, I'm super excited to have you here. I know that for those that don't know, I just gave your intro there at the beginning, but Dave's the founder of Pivot and Scale, is up to a whole bunch of really cool projects. Entrepreneur Alliance is a big one that I'm a part of. Webinar Bootcamp, Pay Funnels. So essentially, really want to give you the opportunity to share all those and also a little bit about your story and some of the marketing lessons that you've learned. So as you know, kind of the show's all about sharing the marketing strategies and tactics that are working right now. Really the valuable lessons that you've learned over the last few years. So why don't you start off with just giving us a bit of your story? Like, how'd you get into all this? What got you sort of started on the entrepreneurial and marketing journey?
Yeah, totally. Well, my first ever experience as an entrepreneur, as a marketer, was when I was 6 years old. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I knew I needed to make some money, and I didn't have any money to, I didn't have any skills, as a 6-year-old, whatever, and I didn't have any money to go get inventory or products, whatever. So I went into my dad's garage and saw a little 12-pack of beer. And I thought, well, there's, my inventory, right? I thought, I think I've seen people with money drinking this stuff. And so I loaded it up in the red wagon, and I started kind of walking down the street to sell this stuff door to door. And this is like the marketer in me coming out. Instead of just like sticking it in there and like walking around selling it, I arranged it in the wagon in the shape of the Eiffel Tower. And I called myself Eiffel Tower Beer Sales. And this was like my first ever little deal. And I walked down the street and actually sold one can to a neighbor for 50 cents.
Nice.
And I think they called my mom and had her come down and get me. And that was the end of Eiffel Tower Beers. We were profitable. And that's kind of, I think, when I got the itch for entrepreneurship. I was like, wow, I just made money. And I didn't have to do a whole lot. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, that's sort of, it almost goes in line with so many different entrepreneurs. The way they start is just a little shady, kind of get into it, maybe doing a bit of bootlegging at 6 years old.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. So that was kind of the initial, but then how I got into it, I guess most recently as a full-time entrepreneur, I was working for a campus ministry about 2.5 years ago at the University of Missouri, and kind of knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I kind of always had that itch, but like had no idea how to go about that. I read 3 books that really kind of changed my life. It was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The 4-Hour Work Week, and Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And after reading those, I was like, I couldn't look at the world the same anymore. I was like, man, like I just, it's almost like I knew too much at that point. So I had to go, figure out how to be a full-time entrepreneur. At that point, a buddy basically said, hey, I'll help you. He was kind of working on a software product at the time. He said, I'll help you kind of build this software product. Even though I didn't know how to code, still don't hired it out. And I launched a fraternity recruitment software because that was kind of like the people that I knew were in fraternities. And I was like, well, these guys use spreadsheets every day to track all the recruitment. I can make a CRM basically for fraternity guys. And that's how I got my start. So about 2.5 years ago, kind of left my job and started out full time in the entrepreneurial world.
Awesome. And then it's been no looking back.
Yeah. Well, okay. Sometimes looking back.
Yeah. I guess it's again, that sort of that entrepreneurial chart, right? The 2 steps forward, 1 step back. What am I doing?
Totally.
That's fantastic.
It's been amazing.
It's interesting that you mentioned that mind shift as well. Like when you first covered that Rich Dad, Poor Dad and 4-Hour Work Week and Think and Grow Rich, kind of those staple books. It's interesting. What I've found with entrepreneurship and marketing in general is once you sort of make that mind shift, there is no looking back. Like you'll never be able to look at marketing or the world the same way. And that's why I heard this statistic a long time ago where they said if you took the millionaires and the billionaires and you took away everything from them, they'd have it back within a year or two. And I never got it, right? I was just like, no, there's no way. That's nuts. And now I finally get it. I was like, yeah, they'd have it back probably within a couple weeks. Like it's just that mind shift. So unbelievable.
So true, man. No, I totally agree. And I see that all the time now. Like we started this little like side business about 2 weeks ago. This is ridiculous. We're not even doing it right now, but we wanted to start this like little business on Shopify selling these like little baby bows.
Yeah.
And it's called mylittlebowbox.com. I mean,
excellent.
If anyone's listening to this, I mean, the site probably won't even be up
Yeah.
If you go check it out.
Yeah.
But we want to sell these things in this niche that we don't really know it about, and so we kind of were like, let's see if we can do it in like 5 days. And so really from like idea to like launch, I mean, it was like probably 5 days or a week to this beautiful site with all these amazing pictures, all that. We started running Facebook ads to it, and basically what we're doing is selling 3 baby bows every single month for like $19.
Yeah.
And started this subscription box business, and we ended up making like 22 sales just from turning on Facebook ads after just like a couple days, and we like turned it off like, okay, like we don't even know how to like make enough bows to do all this and everything like that. And I was just like, wow, like this would have taken me a year to do even 2 years ago, and we just did it in like 6 days.
Yeah.
And have like a viable business, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, I was just thinking about it today, just how much faster we can do everything now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you hit sort of 2 points there that I wouldn't mind diving into a bit more. The first one is that ready, fire, aim mentality, right? Like just get it out there. I mean, if you even look back a couple of years ago with how much technology's changed, how quickly you're able to put up that minimum viable product, right? You're able to get it out there, see, is anyone even going to buy this? And the second one is the miracle that is Facebook ads, right? Like just phenomenal. I mean, you've got access to all these people. So that's something I wouldn't mind if you hit on that one for a bit. How effective have you found Facebook ads to be in your business? And also, I understand you have worked with clients in the past, and I understand that you also used it with them, saw good results as well, I'm assuming. I know already, but why don't you expand a bit more?
Yeah, no, I mean, we love Facebook ads, but I think as an entrepreneur, early on, I mean, you've got to be selling. Like, you've got to be marketing. Like, that's got to be the main focus. Mm-hmm. Like, sell, like, figure out the rest later. Like, we've been in business 2 years. And last night we had a big meeting about kind of the operating agreement. Like that should have been done 6 months before launch. And like, we're already like, we've got an established business. Now we're like, okay, like let's figure out some of these details here. So I think selling is important. And then I think having like one channel that you're really good at is important. So I think it doesn't have to be Facebook ads. That's kind of the one that, I've, fallen into and learned about. I think Facebook's probably the best one for most people. Depends a little bit on your market. But yeah, no, I mean, Facebook does an amazing job of getting the right ad in front of the right person. And like you said, like those 22 people that bought those bows, those are people that like I've never heard of before. They've never heard of us. We don't know them. They're like total strangers. And we didn't have to start with friends and family or emailing all of my aunts and uncles. It was just like, instantly get a right ad in front of the right stranger. They buy, we make money, transaction is complete. And I think Facebook's doing a better job of that than anybody in the world right now. Yeah. So no, we love it. We love it. I think, someday it'll be overcrowded on there, and there'll be kind of a new platform. And you already see some other platforms you can get good results on. But right now, Facebook's the workhorse for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think we're probably looking at another few years of it where it's going to be the dominant sort of market leader. But then, like all things, right? Like we saw with Google AdWords, I mean, they're kind of well on the way out, depending on what your niche is or whatever you're doing there. But yeah, absolutely. So if you look back at sort of your transition into this, I mean, obviously now to be able to take a new business and launch it and get it out there in 5 days, I mean, that's phenomenal. So obviously you've had to learn a lot of things along the way. What are some of the big marketing lessons that you've learned over the years? The best advice that people have given you, things that you've uncovered yourself? What are the real kind of gems that if you'd have known now what you knew then, or if you'd have known then what you know now, there we go.
Yeah.
What would it be?
I think you mentioned one of them, just kind of, figure out what the minimum viable product is. I mean, we're like really good at that. I think like before I do anything, I usually post it on my Facebook wall and see like how many likes I can get, or I'll send an email out and like do a quick survey, like even before it's anything. And a lot of times I don't even follow up with it because like I'm not going to do the idea afterwards. But I kind of test it all, just through posting on my wall and just asking a few people before I do anything. Probably the big one is having one funnel online that converts profitably inside of like 30 or 45 days changes everything. And so, even right now with the Entrepreneur Alliance, we've got it set up. We've got about 200 people, that have joined in the first month here. And it's really exciting. We're working on making the product better and all that. But what we don't have yet, we're working on is getting a profitably converting funnel. Because once you have that, that's when it goes from 200 to 10,000 in a matter of a year or 6 months or whatever. And I think there's no better thing to focus on than getting a funnel that converts profitably inside of 30 days and then make some, profit on the back end of that. Because then you can throw it on a credit card, By the time the credit card comes due, you've already made the profit back. You can pay that thing off, and there's profits afterwards. And so, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest piece of advice is focus on converting cold traffic, and you'll be good to go.
Excellent. Excellent. So when we talk about funnels, because that's kind of an interesting subject, without getting super advanced, because I know we've kind of got a range of experience with the listeners, so some of them aren't as familiar. We have a lot of brick and mortar and some offline businesses. So the concept of a funnel, what I've been sort of trying to introduce is that this funnel is just as applicable for an offline business as it is for an online business. So obviously we kind of geek out with the online stuff, and we're setting up webinar campaigns and all sorts of different inputs and ways to expand that. But even for an offline business, what do you think are some of the best ways to sort of go out there and start a funnel? Like, what was the process for kind of building this thing out for Entrepreneur Alliance? Let's talk about.
Yeah, well, I think, online or offline, I think leading with value, is really good. Like, something that I try to lead with is story. I think stories are really important, and most businesses aren't thinking about that. They're just leading with the benefits. They're saying, hey, use us because, we're the best chiropractor in town, and whatever. I think if you lead with story, like, people's brains are wired to be really attracted to that. And so, in a really crowded world, I know that I may not have the best features, and even if I do, they may not remember that. But if they like something about my story, something unique that they say, oh, that guy's like me, they'll probably listen to a lot of stuff that I say after that. And so we try to lead with story and lead with value. And that's kind of the principle of like reciprocity, from the book Influence by Robert Cialdini Cialdini.
Robert Cialdini, you got her.
Cialdini. Yeah. Just that, hey, if I can give first, not only are they going to appreciate that, but people tend to feel like they need to give back. Like, if I've changed someone's life a little bit, they're like, wow, I need to kind of give back to this guy. Maybe I want to, pay him or check him more out, what he's got, or be a part of what he's got going on. And and so when I lead with value, good things happen. It's like delaying the sale a little bit, but it increases profitability a ton. And so, yeah, I think, whether that's online, you could be, offer a lead magnet. You could offer, write some articles. Like, we're starting to spend more time writing like really, really meaty articles to just totally blow people's socks off day one. Or if, you're kind of a brick and mortar and you've got, say again, a chiropractic business. I mean, put stuff out there that's giving value about how they can help, fix their back, even if they don't come in to see you, right? And then there's a good chance that they will come in if you lead with that initially there. And so, yeah, that's kind of how we start the funnels, at least.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. What you just said, there's so many good points in there. So many good points. I mean, obviously, leading with value and reciprocity, that's such a huge one. I'll link to the show notes, Robert Cialdini's book as well there. It's such an important read, right? Yeah, it's just a mandatory one. He actually has a new book out right now that just got launched, I think, a week or two ago, called Persuasion. And I haven't read that one yet, but it's all about sort of framing your offer so people are more inclined to say yes before you even have a chance. So that's definitely on my reading list for the upcoming holidays here.
I think what I like about him, and I think as I've grown as a marketer, this might be helpful for some people, is when I first started marketing, I just wanted to learn marketing tips, and just what's you kind of learn the basics about how to do good marketing. And I think what I've started to shift into more now is realizing that like people are people, brains are brains, and I'm now reading a lot more about brain science and psychology and sociology, and how do people think as groups? How do people think individually? How do you target people in various ways? And it's I think I still read the marketing books. I still like that, but I think if you can go deeper than that, I realized that the marketing tactics that worked 200 years ago are still going to be the same principles that they are today. Like, the brain has not changed in 200 years, and I can use those all the same. So I think if you can learn that, it doesn't matter if Facebook comes and goes, if websites come and go, if we're all using chatbots in 10 years. It doesn't matter. You just use the same principles, and you just figure out how to apply it in that. And so that's been kind of my development as a marketer, I think. Yeah,
no, that's huge. I mean, it's shocking to me still the amount of times that I will make a purchase and then wonder what just happened. Like, what?
Totally.
I mean, I know what's going on. I'm aware of the triggers they're using and the reciprocity. I'm analyzing everything, and I still go for it. I still buy it, and I look back and I'm like, why did I even do that? It's like, man, that was good. Yeah, they did well.
Totally. No, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, that's funny. So actually another really good point about those sort of meaty articles that you're producing. That's huge. Have you heard about the skyscraper technique? It's sort
Dude,
of,
yeah.
yeah. So Neil Patel has, I believe, no, where did he get it from? Where's the skyscraper technique? It might be Brian
It was
Dean.
the back. Yeah, it was back. It was
Backlinko?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Backlinko. So basically, yeah, taking these articles and then making them, finding the top results on the search engines and then just making them 10 times the, 10 times the effort. I haven't dived into that one yet, but you've sort of just started with that one or seeing good results?
Kind of just starting. Yeah. I mean, really what we're trying to do is build like a platform, right?
Yeah.
Because I realize at this point in our business, I think through funnels and paid traffic. And so people were asking me that, and I realized there was like no central place to do that. Like we just had the tops of funnels. So it's like, well, what product do you want to learn about? I can send you into this cool webinar funnel. Or you want to learn about the Entrepreneur Alliance? I can send you into this. And there's like no central place. And, in our business, like, we've done great with paid traffic, but if I turn it off, everything pretty much drops to zero, right? And I'm like, gosh, I've been doing this for like long enough. There should be some residual happening. And so at this point now, we're kind of building out, a proper website, WordPress site with a blog, and we're going to, have our funnels, linked to that. But that'll kind of be a standing place. And we're really going to try to start generating some more organic traffic. And so, yeah, we're really just taking a look at some of the best articles that are out there, what's ranking for different keywords that we like, building out, really meaty, like legit content for it, not just like, cheap articles. And then, something we're doing that's really easy is we're just asking a lot of influencers. So we're building one right now, like, 50 marketing failures from, business winners or something like that. We're just going to ask like 50 different people, hey, like, what's your biggest like failure? And just kind of include, that's an easy way to build out a lot of really cool content. So we're doing things like that. But yeah, really we're trying to build a platform that can, generate leads for us, even if traffic turns off.
Yeah, excellent. And is that going to be on the Pivot and Scale website?
That one's actually going to be at jointhealliance.co. I believe will be that website there.
Okay, excellent. So I'll make sure to link that up in the show notes as well there. But yeah, those roundup posts are they're still effective, right? If you get people in there, which actually that's going to lead me to my next and one of my final questions here is biggest failures. So what were some of the mistakes? We've all made them. We all keep making them. That's how we learn. What was one of the ones that was like, man, that did not go well?
Oh man, I mean, it really is so many. I don't even, I think I always thought people like said that like humbly, like, oh, they're just gonna make it up. Like literally, no, it's like every day we like blow something. I think one of my biggest lessons that was a big mistake this year was we were running this brand new, webinar funnel. This is like my very first webinar funnel. This started a year ago, selling a course called 6K Success for $997 or like 3 payments of $397. And it was working. It was converting. We instantly went from, not making much money to making a lot of money from this thing. But we were also racking up a big credit card bill, buying traffic on Facebook. And so we basically just got lost on the cash flow and how much money it was bringing in. And fast forward to like April, so 5 months of running this, we're thinking we're loaded. This is amazing. Like, this is too easy. And we kind of look at the bank account, and it had, whatever, $10,000, $20,000 in there. We look at the credit card bill coming up, like due in like a day, and it's like $50,000.
Right.
And I was like, what the heck happened here? Like, where did it go? Like, we just got lost in it all, and we didn't realize that we were kind of like growing broke. That we were, we had money coming in payment plans, but it wasn't here today, and American Express wanted their money today. Yeah. And so it was just a good lesson to learn. Like, you can grow fast, but you still got to grow. There's only so fast you can grow without getting better and better cash flow cycles. And so that was when I learned about cash flow cycles. That's when I learned that cash today is important. It's not just about payment plans. And that was a huge lesson, because then we're just like, we all of a sudden have to get on like a payment plan for the credit card and like figure that out. We turned off the funnel, and we had to kind of like regroup to figure out, how do we grow, how do we grow a little bit more conservatively in the future?
Excellent. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head there with cash flow, because a lot of people that sort of get into business or entrepreneurship or marketing especially, right? Like marketing people, we tend not to be really analytical, accounting minded, want to look at all the bookkeeping stuff. So yeah, when that hammer finally drops, Yeah, it's frightening. And growing broke, that's another really important term. I think I never had that in my business, but I did have rapid expansion that I wasn't prepared for. So I had you always dream about success, but then when it happens and you're just scrambling and you're working all day, all night, and you don't have the systems, you don't have any processes, everything's just all up in your head. Yeah, I think looking back, I'd probably have wanted to start that a little bit earlier. Would have made things a lot smoother as things sort of took off.
I think that's something that, we've learned this year is that there's a difference between making money and learning how to make money and learning how to build a business.
Yeah.
And I think, this year, again, we've only been at this 2 years. Like we've learned how to make a lot of money here. We can generate revenue. We can make sales. We can build products. But I think as we look at the year right now, evaluating it, we feel like we haven't been building a business. I think if Mark Cuban came in to look at and say, hey, I'm looking at buying, you guys, tell me about your system, tell me what the process is, how's it all work? I'd be like, it's just me, it's well, it's on the ad, and so I think what next year's going to be about is okay, now that we know how to make sales, now that we know how to generate revenue, how do we build a true business here that can really scale structurally, that could, maybe even be sold someday, and build something that's going to last and not just a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's not what I want.
Yeah. A legacy, a business. Yeah. Exactly. That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool, buddy. So to wrap this up, before we go, is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have? Anything else that that is really important that people know about or hear about? Any of those gems?
I think one thing I've been thinking about a lot recently, and you see this come through in the Entrepreneur Alliance a lot, is just being authentic. And how if it's scary, it feels risky, but if you're yourself and you're authentic, then it just works so much better. I think when I was first kind of starting out and, the first, year and a half, really, I just would kind of copy what I saw everybody else do. I'd act like them. I'd talk like them. I'd do those things. And I was just like, this isn't really me. And when I kind of shifted, I'm still I'll be making the shift my whole life. When I started just kind of being more authentic, the right people got really attracted to that. Maybe it turned some people off, and that's great. And so I think what I'm trying to do more now and with the Alliance is not just be talking about how to make money all the time, not just be talking about business, but be authentically connecting with people. And when you can do that, the sky is the limit there. And so that just my encouragement to anybody as a marketer, be yourself, take some risks, just be passionate about what you're passionate about, and the right people will come to you.
Awesome. I couldn't have said it better. That's beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. Hey, well, Dave, thanks so much for being here today. Super valuable stuff. Really appreciate you sharing that all. I'm going to put all the show notes and all the links that you mentioned in the show notes below there, so everybody's going to be able to check it out. And once again, man, look forward to continue to follow your journey here and to get to watch and be a part of the growth. So it's been an absolute blast.
Yeah, dude, pumped to have you in the Alliance, man. Cool. Good to have you there.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon there.
See you, man.
Bye-bye.